Welcome back. We're going to look at sales presentation, which is a formal step in the selling cycle. So after we've made the appointment and before we close the deal, we have to do an actual presentation. Something that is repeated. It is a script that's written and repeated and repeated. So there's different presentation methods that refers to different situations. But I would like to discuss the reason and the real way that one sells and what presentation methods should consist of, or what a presentation is all about. So if you can cast your mind right back to the beginning when I said to you that people buy benefits. When we sell, and when we will look later on in the modules, when we will look at consumer buyer behaviors, what motivates people to buy, ultimately we buy benefits. So a product is something that is a physical, tangible thing. That is a product. A bottle of water, a bottle of cool drink is a physical, tangible product. But what does it do? It satisfies a need. Your need is for thirst, or your need, if you've got a beautiful dress, your need is to feel great or look good. Your car, your fancy car, similarly, it is to make you feel that you've got the best car in the world. So a physical product satisfies a need, be it a basic need or be it a status need, whatever. At the end of the day, when we sell to somebody, never mind the presentation, which format the presentation it is, be it a memorized presentation or be it a structured presentation, you will read up on the different methods of presentation. But what are we trying to achieve by that presentation? We're trying to get across the benefits of the product. We talk about something called the FAB presentation method: features, advantages, and benefits. And I like to use a car as an example, and I think I might have used it before, where a car's features are the basic features: the car, the color, the 4 tires, the brakes. The benefits are what those things can do. The benefits are that the brakes means that the car can stop immediately, and the advantages are the absolute safety. So if you take Volvo, their whole selling philosophy or their whole message of Volvo is safety. All their advertising, all their marketing communication is safety. Volvo doesn't say we have a car with the fancy brake system, or we have a car with this and this. Volvo says our car is the safest car in the world, and Volvo's advert is the little girl that sits in the car and the family discuss how she's going to grow up one day to be this very special person because she's going to be safe in that car. So that is the advantage. They're not selling you the feature of the car, which is the brake system and the fact that the car can withstand these great shocks. They're selling you the benefit of that, which ultimately is the advantage. So you, as a salesperson, has to adapt your presentation in a way that you take the features of your product, turn it into an advantage, and ultimately that your customer or your prospect can relate that into a benefit, because that's what people buy. They satisfy a need and they purchase the benefit. So that's in a private capacity. How do you satisfy a business-to-business benefit? You have to know what the benefit is. What are they looking for? And simply put, they're normally wanting to make profit, aren't they? They're normally looking for a product that can satisfy their business need, that they can either sell on or they can use in a different way to produce something to make a profit. But why would they use your product as opposed to somebody else's product? And that's where benefit selling comes in. And that's where your after sales service and your organization and all those things come into it. So your presentation is important. They are the tools that you're going to use. The tools, your actual physical presentation, the technology that goes with it, your presentation skills, the things that we've learned about your voice, your tone, the different tools you've got, your non-verbal, your verbal. All of those things come into play, but at the end of the day, the message you're bringing across, the theme, is that you want them to understand the benefit of the message that you're giving them. And that is what a presentation is all about. We will now be looking at closing the sale. And this is probably the worst part of selling. It should be the easiest part, but it's not. You know, I've worked with sales reps. I've gone into the trade or into the business environment with salespeople, and they've talked themselves right out of closing a sale, which would be the simplest thing in the world, is just to ask for that order. And some people can't. Some people really just cannot ask for the order. And some people talk themselves right out of an order. I don't know which one is worst. I think some people just have this fear that if they ask for an order, they're going to be rejected. Remember, you're selling for a living. That's what you do. You're selling. You ask for an order. Right at the beginning, when you're setting the meeting, your plan is to close the deal. Now, I've got this wonderful cartoon that's stuck up at my desk, and it says there, no, I don't want the order because I haven't gone through the 7 steps yet. Please don't ever do that. If your customer is giving you buying signals, ask for the order. Get the deal done. And now we will discuss in quite a bit of detail what buying signals are. Buying signals can be verbal and non-verbal. Verbal is easy, it's what people say. And the easiest is when they say, when can I have it? Please, I would like one. Or do you have it in red? Or when can you deliver my car? That's a buying signal. Verbal buying signal is very easy. And then you say, yes, please, I would like to deliver it tomorrow. Yes, please, sign on the dotted line. That's the easy bit. But the non-verbal buying signals, the body language, those are things that you've really got to learn. And if we're so busy talking and so busy not listening to what people are saying, then you forget or you don't pick up on those buying signals. Something that I was taught very early in my selling career, and I'm so grateful for that, is to read with the eyes and to be observant. If you walk into a customer and you walk into an organization, do you look at the certificates on the wall? Do you look at the pictures of their children? Do you know what their hobbies are? Yes, you've done the research before you made the appointment, but you've got to be very observant. Did you see what car was parked in the driveway? Did you see what his secretaries or the PA's children pictures, what school they went to? Because those are all non-verbal cues, and it gives you a way to talk to them, and it gives you a way in, and it gives you a way to make the conversation easier. So if you can talk to them about their school, their children go to, it really makes them a lot more endearing to you. And then there's simple body language cues like they lean in closer to you, or the good old smile, or, the handshake, things like that. So you've got to learn the body language. When you're selling a physical product, it's also much easier because they will say, can we taste it? Or when can I visit? Can I come to the farm? Can I come to the factory? Those are buying signals. So if somebody says to you, can I come to your plant? When can I come to the farm? Then, it is a cue to say, when you come to the farm, may we deliver it before you come? Or would you like us to deliver it? Would you like to take order at the farm? Something like that. So don't think of a sale as only occurring after the fact. Think of closing the sale even before you've walked into the client. It is very important to think about closing the sale constantly, okay? We have to be very cognizant of cultural differences when it comes to non-verbal communications, particularly in our country with so many cultural influences. The handshake we take for granted. The handshake, the westernized handshake, is a very firm handshake. If you shake firmly, it's a sign of confidence. It's a sign of being very sure of yourself. Whereas the African handshake is not such a firm handshake. It's a very soft handshake. So understand what the handshake is bringing across. Spatial distance in a business context you don't stand very close to your business associate. Personal space is for your friends, and very much intimate space is for close friends. So when you go and see a client, please don't stand on top of them. That is very much invasive, non-verbal communication. If, however, a client comes into your personal space, that's quite good body language, and you might be aware of not stepping backwards, because that will give the wrong non-verbal cue to them. So be aware of that spatial distance. Other things that you must look at are people's eyes. You can read in the text, there's lovely, lovely drawings or little diagrams on people's eyes. The way people's eyes move show what they're thinking. Very interesting. If you look leftwards, you are thinking in pictures. If you look to the right, it's teaching you different things that people are thinking about. So if you're intuitive as a salesperson, you might even be picking up buying signals just by the movement of people's eyes. So you can learn all sorts of psychological tricks just by reading people's eyes, by reading their spatial distance, but be aware that you're not encroaching on what is correct and what is not correct. And be very aware of cultural differences, because you could really, really annoy somebody if you're doing it incorrectly. Remember, your way is not always the right way. And don't just accept because it's the way you do it, that's the way your customer is going to do it. Learn as much about your customer and their culture and their habits as you possibly can, and that'll help you close the deal. Follow-up is hugely important, and that is very hard to do. How often do you follow up? To who do you follow up? How do you follow up? Services is following up. This after sales services follow up. I don't know if any of your sales managers or any of your financial managers have said to you, a sale is only a sale when the money is in the bank. Have you ever heard that? We don't like that as salespeople, because as far as we're concerned, when we've got the order, then we've done our job. But at the end of the day, salaries have to be paid, and if the money is not in the bank, then our salaries can't be paid. So follow-up is hugely important. And follow-up is about building long-term relationships. So the more service you give the client, the more you follow up, the more reorders you'll get, the better relationship you'll develop with a client. And selling is about building long-term relationships. Follow up with today's modern technology is also something that's often easier with the CRM methods. With technology where the CRM methods just schedule your customers into an appropriate pattern. But it is still something that has to be planned and something that you have to do correctly. So what is after sales service? What is after sales service just being nice? Is after sales service getting more orders? What is after sales service? Remember one thing, I think we touched on this very briefly right in the beginning of this, of the start of this journey. Your customer wants to deal with you. If your customer has a problem with the accounts in your company, if your customer has a problem with his delivery, etc., he wants to deal with you. You are the contact point. So the better your relationship with that customer, the easier it is for him to contact you and to make sure all those problems are ironed out. But in business today, very often the customer couldn't be bothered to phone you, because there's another salesperson that'll quite easily just fill the gap, quite easily come and take that order, quite easily replace your product. So if you don't follow up and you don't ensure he's happy, your product will go off the shelf, or your machinery will just simply be replaced by somebody else's. So it's up to you to make sure that the customer is happy, and to make sure that the product was used correctly, and that the product was that he is happy with, and that his consumers were happy with your product. So it is vital for you to keep that relationship going and re-going and re-going and re-going. It is so much cheaper to keep a customer than to find a new customer. Do me a favor, go and research that. Just Google how much cheaper is it to keep a customer than to find a new customer. There's books written on it, and they've actually got the exact amount of money that it costs to reach a new customer, and you will not believe how cheap it is to retain a customer.